was just going to mention to you, because it just happened earlier this morning, we heard from her, the president of the European Commission, who was here, talked about warning, effectively, this goes to the point you're making of just the different feelings. She was warning about, quote, harsh geostrategic competition and the expectations of tariffs. And when you talk about harsh geostrategic competition, I mean, that is something that's sort of a very different sort of framing than I think you would have ever heard from Europe in terms of how they thought about the United States.
Right. I mean, just one of those issues that's expected and anticipated is that tariffs of 25%, this is what Donald Trump, the President Trump has said, is that those tariffs of 25% on Mexico and Canada, our allies, are going to kick in on February 1st. Now, I don't know why it's not immediately like so many of the other executive orders, but we will talk about some of those very issues coming up. Let's take a in fact, we're going to do it right now. Let's get to those first orders that President Trump signed after taking office. He issued full pardons to about 1,500 people who were charged in the riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th of 2021. He signed an order that halted the ban of TikTok for at least 75 days. He ordered the creation of the Department of Government Efficiency. That's the Elon Musk-led advisory group that's tasked with slashing government waste. Vivek Ramaswamy, who was set to co-lead DOGE with Musk, confirmed yesterday that he is leaving the group. The word is he's going to be running for governor of Ohio. President Trump also signed an order seeking to end automatic birthright citizenship for people not in the country legally. And President Trump ordered the U.S. to begin withdrawing from the Paris Climate Agreement. He declared a national emergency for energy. He directed the federal agencies to facilitate domestic energy production, including on federal lands. He also repealed automotive emissions targets that were issued by the Biden administration, and he ordered an end to DEI initiatives in the government, including any programs that hire or promote people based on characteristics including race or disability status. Another order ended recognition of people's expressed gender identity, instead recognizing biological sex as simply defined by reproductive organs at birth. President Trump did not implement new tariffs, but he did say that he plans to place 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico coming February 1st, and said that he might still implement universal tariffs. Separately, the Senate confirmed Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, making him the first member of Trump's cabinet to be appointed. The vote was 99-0. So obviously, Andrew, things moving quickly, a lot of activity as we anticipated. They warned early yesterday that there would be more than 100 executive orders and actions that were given just in the first 24 hours, and we've already seen a huge amount of movement, even though we're not even 24 hours in since his inauguration yesterday.
I'll tell you one thing that you'll find interesting, just because we've sat here together for so many years in Davos, where the conversation is about ESG and, in fact, DEI. You were just mentioning DEI being part of these first round executive orders. That phrase, ESG, is effectively off the table here, meaning it is not in the names. It is not in the names of the panels. It is not really mentioned except in the context of it being effectively rebuked, at least in the United States. In Europe, it's a little bit of a different story, but still, I think there's almost an anxiousness about it. So it's very interesting to see how quickly things are shifting.
Andrew, I was reading this morning in Semaphore, and they're saying that Davos man is an endangered species. Just the whole mood and context may be changing, just what you were saying.
Davos man is, I don't know if you were reading the same one. Ben Smith interviewed me. Usually we interview Ben Smith.
Oh, did you say that?
I said Davos man is under attack. Maybe
they used it. They stole it. It's their opening story in their thing today. That's very well done. That's Davos man endangered species is their #1 item in their newsletter today.
He is. We got a lot more coming up. We're going to talk to a whole bunch of Davos men, whether they want to call themselves that or not. We're going to talk crypto in just a minute because Bitcoin surged to a record yesterday, then pulled back after crypto wasn't included in the first round of President Trump's executive orders. We're going to talk about that because we got Coinbase's CEO, Brian Armstrong, who made the trip. He was in Washington over the weekend. He's here now. This is a special edition of Squawk Box Live from Davos, Switzerland and Washington, D.C., the day after